I can't tell you how much it means to us to have you here. We're honored. I'm honored that you've come to my office and spend your evening with everyone from Prima and Gailmard Eye Center. And thank you so much for coming. Thanks very much for being here. And welcome. And we're very excited to have the Prima meeting in Chicago. This should be a good kickoff to a very educational and fun weekend that we have planned. So it should be a great event, and glad that you're all here tonight. I think this is definitely the most people we've ever had in here at one time. I know we still have a lot of people here because most of you came by bus, and the buses aren't leaving, so you're pretty much here. But we'll have a good time, and we're excited to kick off this event here in Munster, Indiana. Please enjoy the food and drink, and I know you've been exploring the office and getting some tours, and please continue to do that and ask questions. We have about 100 Prima doctors and staff members here tonight. In fact, there are no non-members here. We have a few prospects at the meeting in Chicago, but this was offered to Prima members first, and it sold out very early. In fact, most of the whole meeting is almost all Prima members. As Prima grows, we're very pleased to see that the meetings become almost fully attended by members, and that's very gratifying, and we're very pleased about that. The camaraderie and the friendships are some of the most important benefits of Prima membership. And our meetings increasingly are about members helping members. So we thank you for that. We have 7 members of the Prima team here tonight, including my partner, Dr. Jerry Hayes, and I'm going to ask Jerry to say a few words in just a moment. Also here are, and somewhere around the area, is Terry Abraham and Nathan Hayes, Rachel Dornbos, kind of wave, everybody, okay? And Lauren Styron and Kimber Bond. And we are certainly missing Elise Talbot, who we're very sorry broke her ankle last week and was really looking forward to coming to this meeting, and I know she's very sorry to miss seeing all of you, and we hope that Elise has a very speedy recovery. She'll be working from home for a few weeks, and she's doing well so far, I'm told. We have 17 staff members from Gailmard Eye Center here tonight, and they've already been giving you tours, and I'm sure many of you have met some of our staff, and we appreciate them being here. Included among our staff are our 3 managers, and that's Cynthia Wright, and Barb Gorzicki, and Jill Harger. And so they're all here tonight. Also, very pleased to have 2 of our doctors, our associate doctors, are here tonight. Dr. Kathy Moles, who is celebrating her 20th year this month at Gailmard Eye Center. And also Dr. Amanda Spray is here, and she just finished her 5th year at Gailmard Eye Center. So thanks very much for coming tonight. I also want to introduce my wife, Dr. Susan Gailmard. Are you around anywhere, Susan? I don't know where she is. Susan, of course, is co-owner of Gailmard Eye Center. Susan and I built this practice together. You know, really, back in the day when we first started, it was built from nothing. And I'm sure similar to many of your stories that you have in building your practices, but we've been through a lot together. And I may be the more visible Dr. Gailmard, but Susan really deserves most of the credit for any success that we've enjoyed. She has seen a huge number of patients in the past 30 years here and is very involved in the management of the practice. So I certainly want to give her a lot of credit, and glad that she's here today. I hope you get a chance to meet her and talk with her. I was born and raised here in Munster, Indiana, and I opened cold right out of school in 1976 in a little office just up the street a few blocks. And we moved a couple times in that period. Susan was also from Northwest Indiana, raised in Gary, Indiana. So our roots in this area go way back. I'd like to thank Essilor for being a platinum sponsor at all of our Prima meetings and for sponsoring this reception. We have a great partnership with Essilor, and we're continually improving our programs and our discounts with Essilor. And I'm going to ask Matt Swartz, Director of Strategic Accounts, to say a few words in just a few minutes. Not quite yet, Matt, but shortly. Also here from Essilor is Bill Ham, National Accounts Director. I also want to acknowledge that some of our other Prima vendors are here tonight. Very glad that you all could come. I want to welcome them. And you'll be seeing them at the meeting throughout the weekend. Some of the sponsors and vendors that are here tonight are David Friedfeld, President and CEO of Clear Vision. Right there, David's been at every one of our Prima meetings, and we value his support greatly. We also have Neil Freemer of Eye Designs is here. I mentioned Matt and Bill from Essilor. Jay Longstreth of Marchand is here. Josh Rich is here from Solution Reach. Marla Radcliffe from Vistacon. So thanks for all of you for coming tonight. So that was my short speech, and I would like to... Oh, there's Susan. Oh. Okay, Susan was out for a minute, but in case you haven't met her, Susan Gailmard. Thank you very much, Jerry. We're glad we could. And so, actually, I'd like for Jerry, my partner, to say a few words also.
Thank you, Neil. Well, it's very gratifying to have such a crowd turnout for this tonight. And one of the things that I like to tell my kids when we were raising them was, you know, really, except for, you'll be the same person 5 years from now that you are today, except for the people you meet, the places you go, the books you read. We're not going to read a lot of books this weekend, but part of the Prima experience is meeting other people. And that really may be the Prima experience, is what you can learn from each other, not so much what you can learn from Neil or from me or from Nathan. And then the other part of that is the places you go. And I've heard numerous comments, dozens of comments tonight, you know, wow, you know, what a practice, what an office. And I feel the same way, frankly. I've been here before. But this is such a monument to the profession of optometry. And it's just part of one of the places you go that you see the possibilities of what can be done in optometry. So, Neil, thank you for showing us the way with that. Other than that, we want to make this a really wonderful experience for everybody. You know, the most precious commodity you have in your life is not money, but time. And we're honored that you would spend 3 or 4 days of your life this year with us trying to learn how to be more successful, more gratified in private practice. And that's really what I hope everybody leaves here on Sunday feeling that way.
Thank you. Why don't you introduce Matt?
Okay. Come on up, Matt. Now is your time. Let's give Matt a big hand here. Matt's an Okie. He did live in California, but he's recently located to Dallas. Dallas and Dallas, right?
Yeah, the big house.
And the big house. And I don't want to make light of that, but I can't tell you how instrumental that Essilor has been in supporting Prima. And in every relationship with a group like this, you know, there's always a fine line between telling you how much we want you to use Essilor and at the same time not wearing our welcome out. So I'm going to let Matt do that. But we do really want everybody to know that behind the scenes Essilor has been a big part of the success that Prima's had and a big part of supporting our meetings. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Before I get started, I just want to say, very, very important, I vote for the meatballs as the best food. So let's give meatballs a round of applause. I have about 3 plates of them, so I'm looking full up here, that's what happened. But, I got to say, on behalf of Strategic Accounts for Essilor Laboratories, we have a strategic account team that is growing. We're up to 9 members, and Prima is a major strategic partner of ours. And when I think about why we're here and why we're sponsoring this, I mean, who wouldn't be happy to be here with? I mean, these 2 guys wrote the book on consulting in this industry. I mean, I've been in the industry quite a while, and I remember reading articles early on that were just, I mean, these guys are all about, providing the roadmap about where it's going in the field of optometry. So we're very happy to be rolling out to you as we'll present to you tomorrow on, a program that ties in with really, I'd like to say the consulting prowess of Prima. It's kind of like portfolio management, but it's bringing you the best of what we have tied in with how you're going to be the most profitable. So we're very excited to tie that in and to show you how we can actually rebate most of your member rebates. So, we provide a good partnership to you. So thank you very much. We're very proud to be here, and we look forward to talking to each and every one of you at our booth. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And the party goes on until 8, so you have plenty of time for more food and drink and more tours, and I'll be around if you have any questions.
Okay, before we abandon, I've heard this question. Neil, if you'll come up in just a minute. I've heard the question asked more than once, and you alluded to it, that you said you started out small. But give us a little bit of chronology, just on, nobody wakes up and decides to open a private practice and say, well, I think I'll start with this. I mean, that doesn't happen. So really and truly, give us just a little bit of chronology on how you and Susan started and what got you to this point.
Sure, thanks. I'm delighted. Sometimes I think that I was naive when I got out of optometry school and idealistic, and it probably served me well because you just sort of like plow into it, as many of you have, and if we'd known a lot more, maybe you'd have been too afraid to do it, but we take some risks. Back in those days, I graduated from school in 1976, and I just wanted to own my own practice, and so I started on a shoestring, interest rates that were nearing 20% to get a bank loan in those days. And I got turned down by many banks before I could buy my first lane of equipment. And it was really modest. My first office was 530 square feet. And that's tiny. And the optical was really... Do any of you old enough to remember those plastic Opteracs that they used to have? They were like yellow and black, and they had like A-frames on them. And, I don't know, you could buy one of them for $12 or something. And that's what I had, a little room with Opteracs. And it was, the waiting room had lawn furniture. I mean, it's real. It was nice lawn furniture, but it was lawn furniture. And so, but what I always had was a vision of what I wanted it to be. And I stretched, and I tried to fake it till I made it, and tried to keep on, pushing towards that dream practice. Susan graduated from ICO in 1980. By then I had moved to a little bit nicer office, but still pretty modest. And we certainly didn't have enough patients for 2 doctors. But we managed, we made it. We opened a second little office in a town about 20 miles from here in Indiana. And we didn't really like it, but it was a way to get the business going. I worked many other jobs. I taught at ICO for many years to get an income, because I couldn't pull income out of the practice at that time. And then I worked other odd jobs, commercial, ophthalmology, wherever I could work. And so, but we managed, and we grew it together. And so we kept on sort of just taking some risks, trying to control that. We bought this land in 1985, and there was a couple of houses on the original part, old houses that were kind of teardowns. And in fact, the town of Munster asked if they could set them on fire and then practice putting them out. And then we built the first half of this building. It was about 7,000 square feet. And then the part that we're in now is a newer addition, added on in 1991, because the lot next door became available. We just kept on building it until we could, and in the beginning, it was bigger than it needed to be. But today, we fill it up. And, I think it's a tribute to saying, having a vision and saying, we're going to build it and they will come. And it's true. I mean, it becomes a competitive advantage. This office is now noticeable in this town. We became like, a destination for eye care here. So.
Now, when you were in your smaller office, your predecessor office, that one was approximately how big compared to this? And was the demand there, and I guess the question I'm asking is, how big of a leap of faith was it for you to go from that office to 7,000 square feet?
Yeah. So, you know, we actually did it in a couple phases. We went from 530 square feet to 1,700 square feet. Decent, normal-sized office. Again, all on this, within 3 blocks on this main road in town. And then we moved into this office. It was a huge leap from 1,700 to 7,000. And then we added 3,500 on, so we have 10,500 now. Really big for an office. And we know it's kind of a luxury. The optical itself is 3,500 square feet, probably bigger than most optometric offices. And so, but you know, it's just kept getting busier. What we found each time we moved, Jerry, is that it was like a huge marketing strategy to move to a nicer office. And then to promote that to our patients, and then in this office, the public noticed. I mean, now, in fact, people would come in and say, I'm so glad there's an eye doctor here on Ridge Road. We've been down the street for 10 years. They didn't notice us before. So we started in a little medical building, kind of backwards, with no visibility, and struggled in the early years, but made it on referrals, word-of-mouth referrals. And then here, we got the huge pop of being noticed and visibility, and it's big, I'll tell you. I mean, visibility does certainly matter, and location matters. So it helped us grow once we got in here. At first, just Susan and I in this big building, all these exam rooms, we didn't have the patience for it, that's for sure. But thanks very much for listening to the story, and we'll be around to talk, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks a lot.